Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at Union Switch and Signal and their contribution to the 1911A1 production during World War II. Now, Union Switch and Signal was located in Swissvale, Pennsylvania, and they were the last organization to receive a contract for the 1911A1 pistol in World War II. Now, Union Switch and Signal was founded by George Westinghouse in 1882, and they were primarily engaged in the manufacture of switching and signaling equipment in the railroad industry. And this wasn't their first time contributing to the war effort. During World War I, they manufactured 80 horsepower rotary aviation engines, 4-inch and 4.5-inch shells, and rifle parts. Now, an ordnance survey determined that they could readily adapt to their facilities to pistol production, and negotiations with the Pittsburgh Ordnance resulted in a contract for 200,000 pistols in April of 1942. Now, they sent 12 men to Colt to study the production techniques of the pistol, and at the peak of their employment for production during World War II, they had 1,100 workers that were employed, and most of them were women putting these pistols together. So just another example of the war effort during World War II of everybody being involved. Now, there were some pre-production trial runs that were set up to test the equipment and the methods, and there was 100 pistols that were assembled and marked experimental, or EXP, number 1 through 100, and we happen to have one of those pistols as an example today right here on the bench. This is number 34 from those very first ones that were put together. Now, there were also some unnumbered lunchbox pistols that found their way out of the factory, and let's see now, the first 102 pistols were accepted in January of 1943, so it took them just a little while to get into production. And at that point in time, not all of the machining tools had been received, so a number of parts came from Colt and Remington Rand. Now, full production was reached in March of 1943, but in January of 1943, just as production was getting underway, the company was advised that their contract would be canceled due to a severe drop in requirements for the pistol. So they were offered a substitute contract for M1 carbine components, and in February of 1943 a meeting was held where representatives from Pittsburgh and Chicago Ordnance Districts and the primary contractors of the carbine, which was the National Postal Meter Company, Quality Hardware, and Machine Corporation, and Rockola, were all present. So on March 8th, Union Switch and Signal was notified that the contract for the 200,000 pistols was effectively reduced to 30,000. So that was their official notice of this impending canceling of the contract. So in June, when the contract was almost complete for the first 30,000 pistols, and most of the workers had already been transferred to carbine production, a notice of intent for 25,000 more pistols was received. Now, this additional amount was due to the production problems at Remington Rand. If you've watched the Remington Rand video, you'll understand that they actually stopped production at one point due to some issues there. So anyway, due to the cancellation and resumption of the contract, the pistol production requirements couldn't be met, so they weren't able to deliver the however many thousands per month, and it drug it out till November of 1943 when the last pistols were shipped. Now, they made exactly 55,000 pistols that were delivered, and the Union Switch and Signal pistols were of high quality, and they didn't experience the production problems that they were encountered by Ithaca and Remington Rand. Now, in the manufacture of these pistols, the slide and the disconnector were the hardest to manufacture. And there's a quote I have here from the chief engineer of Remington Rand, who said of manufacturing the slide, he said, "You have to get in there like a worm in a chestnut to get the meat out." So evidently it's hard to get in and do the machining operations inside of the slide. The barrel clearance cut and the barrel locking grooves were difficult to reach while maintaining the required tolerances. And then the disconnector, it was designed to prevent the pistol from firing fully automatic. Now that failed to operate on one pistol during an interchangeability test. And because of the safety issues involved, additional tests revealed that this problem occurred on other Union switch and signal pistols. And the blame ultimately fell on faulty inspection practices and inadequate ordnance inspection gauges. Now, Union switch and signal, they contributed to the production of and development of the pistol in a couple of different ways. One interesting way was they had a special firing range that was later adopted by other facilities. They also reproduced a special bullet trap for Colt, and they also devised a system of forecasting production accurately, and this was later adopted as a standard for the industry, and later was expanded to include other equipment. Now, another thing too with these, they were so well done, ordnance recommended Union switch and signal for a special accommodation for their pistols, and they were noted to have a superior finish. They had high rank and test results for parts interchangeability, and they're just overall a high quality pistol. Now, let's see, what else do I want to mention here? There was no ordnance stamps on these, no P-proof mark until about 1,060,000, and there's no explanation why. Now, Union switch and signal contributed greatly to the United States war effort during World War II. They had 23 prime contracts and subcontracts. They made A-21, A-22, VB-3 tail bomb assemblies, chemical trench mortar fuse parts, and anti-aircraft shells and other parts and pieces for the war effort. Now we'll go ahead and take a closer look at these pistols. Here's the experimental one. And the experimental one here, you can see it's kind of hidden by the grip there, but you have the US and S, and then down here is where the experimental is, number. You can make that out, and then you can see the stamp here of 34. But we can't really get in there to see the EXP there. And we'll go ahead and flip it over here, and you can see the Union switch and signal logo here, and then the US and S Company, Swissvale, Pennsylvania, USA. And of course, this being an early one and being the experimental one, it has no other marks on it or anything else. And just a really nice finish on this. Good quality pistol here. Just excellent shape. We'll go ahead and take a look at this 1943 production when they were up and running. Now by this point, we're up high enough in serial number here that you can see this has all the appropriate stamps on it. United States property, model 1911, A1, U.S. Army, and then just excellent finish. Everything about this pistol fits well and goes together quite well. And then you can see the Union switch and signal, Swissvale, Pennsylvania, USA, and then we have our ordnance inspection mark. Now the what we have here is the RCD in the circle here, and that's for Lieutenant Colonel Robert C. Downey, Pittsburgh Ordnance District, Army of Inspector, from July of 1942 through October of 1945. And he's on all Union switch and signal pistols for the total production. But there you go. Another interesting note in World War II production of the model 1911 A1, the Union switch and signal, 55,000 of them made, so one of the rarer pistols you'll find out there. And anyway, alright, hey, thanks for tuning in and watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a great day.